Welcome back to another video. So Embark just dropped a brand new post called Ensuring Fair Play for Arcraiders, and honestly this is probably the most transparent they've ever been about cheating, anti-cheat detection, bans, machine learning, and what's actually happening behind the scenes in Arcraiders right now. And after weeks and months of players complaining about hackers, suspicious deaths, wall hacks, duplicated loot, and soft punishments, Embark is finally responding publicly. But the big question is this going to actually fix the cheating problem in arcraiders, or is this just another trust us guys developer post? Because after reading through all of it, there are actually some pretty huge details hidden inside this announcement that most players will probably miss. So in this video we're breaking down what Embark has confirmed, how their anti-cheat system actually works, why they're using AI and machine learning, the controversy around kernel-level anti-cheat, and whether players should actually feel hopeful after this update and in the weeks and months to come. So let's get into it. So first off, Embark confirmed that arcraiders is using a multi-layered anti-cheat system, not just easy anti-cheat, not just player reports, but an entire stack of systems working together. According to the post, the game currently combines easy anti-cheat at the kernel level, machine learning models trained on player telemetry, and several undisclosed layers they intentionally refuse to talk about for security purposes. Now, the machine learning part is probably the biggest reveal here, because Embark basically confirmed they're analyzing player behavior patterns in real time. That means the system is not only checking your PC for cheat software, but it's also watching how you play. So things like impossible tracking, unnatural reaction times, suspicious movement, abnormal aim consistency, weird engagement patterns, or behavior that statistically does not look human. And honestly, that's probably the future of anti-cheat in gaming, because traditional anti-cheat systems are constantly losing the arms race against modern cheats, especially DMA cheats and external hardware cheats. And if you don't know what those are, basically some cheaters now run hacks off a completely separate PC or hardware device, which makes them incredibly difficult to detect through standard anti-cheat scans. And that's why Embark specifically said kernel-level anti-cheat here is a necessity, quote unquote, because most commercial cheats now operate at that level. And this is where things start getting a bit controversial, because kernel-level anti-cheat basically has deep access to your operating system. Some players absolutely hate it, especially Linux users and privacy-focused players. I myself am on that side of the fence, where I'm not too big of a fan of it, but at the same time, almost every major competitive shooter in the industry is moving in this direction right now. So games like Valorant, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex, and Battlefield, and even upcoming extraction shooters are getting more aggressive with anti-cheat systems. And Embark actually confirmed they're currently testing an entirely new kernel level solution on top of what they already have, which could mean even more invasive detection systems are coming around the corner. Now, one thing I found really interesting, Embark had also addressed false bans, because one of the biggest fears with AI anti-cheat is what happens if the system thinks a really good player is cheating, or what if someone uses accessibility hardware. Embark specifically mentioned that ban appeals are reviewed by actual humans, or at least a portion of the appeals are, and that they're not just entirely relied upon AI automation. And honestly, that's probably very necessary, because if machine learning becomes the primary detection method, false positives are going to be inevitable, especially in a game like Arcraiders, where high-level movement, fast reaction times, and insane tracking can sometimes genuinely look suspicious. Now, another huge topic here is loot compensation, and this is probably the one thing Arcraiders does better than almost any extraction shooter right now. If the system detects that a cheater killed you and stole your gear, Embark can actually return your lost loot automatically through in-game mail. And honestly, that is huge for any game, let alone an extraction shooter, because in games like Tarkov or Marathon, eventually losing loot to hackers completely destroys player trust. People stop bringing in good gear, they stop risking fights, they stop playing aggressively, and eventually they stop playing altogether. But arcraiders at least attempts to reduce that pain by refunding your kits after confirmed cheating incidents. The problem is that players are divided on whether this system is actually working consistently anymore. Some players say that they constantly get their gear returned, and others have claimed that they haven't received compensation in weeks or months despite obvious hackers, and I am on that side of the fence myself. I remember the first few months of the game, I received in-game mail all the time, and I don't think I've received in-game mail with any loot compensation in the past probably 4 months, and that's really the biggest issue Embark has right now, which is still player trust, because even if anti-cheat is improving behind the scenes, players only care about what they actually feel in game, and right now a lot of high-level PvP players still believe that cheating is everywhere. We've seen obviously high-profile streamers like Shroud and Peanut and Hutch slam the game in recent months after dying constantly to suspicious players, basically saying Embark wasn't doing enough and leaving the game altogether or taking a very long break from it. And there's also still controversy surrounding exploit punishments, especially after the duplication exploit situation earlier this year, and that's still going on today, where some players and even streamers received relatively light punishments. That situation really hurts the community confidence because players want consistency. Regular players get punished hard, they expect creators and big streamers to get the same level of punishment as well. Now, personally, I think the most important thing from this entire announcement isn't actually the anti-cheat technology, it's the communication done on Embark's behalf, because for the first time in a while, Embark is publicly acknowledging the cheating problem, the community frustration, the false ban concerns, the accessibility concerns, and the reality that is basically an endless war. And honestly, they're right. No multiplayer game is ever going to completely eliminate cheating. That's just not attainable and is completely impossible. But the real goal is, can you reduce cheating enough so that players still trust the game? And that's the real battle here, especially for extraction shooters where every death matters. And to be fair, Embark does seem to be heavily investing into solving this solution long term. So again, using things like machine learning, behavioral analysis, kernel-level detection, human-reviewed bans, and loot compensation systems. And honestly, that's more advanced or more we've gotten from what a lot of other games are currently doing. But the real test is going to be what happens over the next few months. Do players actually feel the difference? Will suspicious deaths decrease? Will high-level PvP lobbies improve? Do ban waves become more aggressive? Do exploiters get punished consistently? Because if arcraider continues growing while cheating stays under control, the game could genuinely become one of the biggest extraction shooters on the market, and we could get some of that peak player base from where we were a couple months ago. But if the cheating problem spirals, that will kill the game faster than almost anything. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think down below. Do you trust Embark's anti-cheat direction? And have you personally run into any cheaters recently in arcraiders? And do you think machine learning anti-cheat is actually the future of competitive gaming, or is this just marketing buzzwords? Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more arcraiders content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next raid. Peace out.